this on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa.
Shout out to Neoliberal Tears for this.
Shout out to Twitter/X user Neoliberal Tears for resurfacing this clip.
Neoliberal Tears commented at the top of the show, "What happened to my music?" One of my favorite commenters.
Yeah, big fan.
So much affection for me.
Keep it in mind. Prepare for a holiday season of Neoliberal Tears.
Hey, hello, welcome to Nightcap with Neoliberal Tears. I am him, Neoliberal Tears. So today I wanted to talk about the war on Iran and some dimensions of economic, shall we say, coercion that are going on that I feel like are not really highlighted enough in our news media, at least.
Along with what we've been hearing with the administration when it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz and ending the U.S. naval blockade, some of the most controversial points here will be point 10. By the way, this memorandum of understanding, senior U.S. officials confirmed, does have 14 points. Point 10, it says the United States of America undertakes that immediately upon the signing of this MOU, the U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, and derivatives. So basically...
So this is really important. For those who may not be aware, Iran has been, because of sanctions by Western powers, including the U.S., they haven't been able to sell their oil or their oil derivatives, crude, refined oil, all the stuff that goes along with oil. They have not been selling them at market prices. They have been selling it at a huge discount because of the sanctions by Western powers. So this sanction relief that journalist Gabe Gutierrez is talking about would allow Iran to sell their oil or crude or all of the derivatives, as he called it, the oil products, at market prices again, and not at a discount. Okay.
The thing that will kick in immediately once this is formally signed is sanctions relief for Iran. That has drawn widespread skepticism from even some of the president's allies. Some Republicans were concerned that you're essentially rewarding Iran up front. A senior U.S. official on this call defended the sanctions relief by saying that essentially they'll be able to keep better track of any oil that Iran is selling to other countries. That'll have more visibility for it. And that's the defense that the administration gave.
The reaction to sort of the sanction relief from both sides of the aisle has been unanimously genocidal, shall we say, as is often the case, bipartisanly. So I wanted to share this. Let's see which genocidal senator that is. Richard Blumenthal, appropriately named Dick Blumenthal. So here's what he said about the Iran sanctions relief and Trump and the agreement. The homogeneous $300 billion plus windfall, lifting of sanctions, unrestricted oil sales, total lack of inspection or verification, offer vague and unenforceable promises on nuclear arms, bolstering Iran's claim to victory against the great Satan. This is a Democratic senator saying, why is Trump letting Iran sell their oil to other countries unrestrictedly? Why is he letting them off the hook? This is a neocon speaking, except there's a D next to their name. And to be clear, other Republicans were not happy either, because allowing Iran to sell their oil and lifting those sanctions is in their mind a problem for who? Maybe American oil producers or Western oil producers who want their oil to be sold, without competition. I'll just read it one more time. Just one more time from Dick Blumenthal. No relationship to Max, as far as I know. Humongous $300 billion plus windfall, lifting of sanctions, unrestricted oil sales, total lack of inspection or verification, all for vague, unenforceable promises on nuclear arms, bolstering Iran's claim to victory against the great Satan. Okay. So that's from a Democrat. Although, as I said, to be clear, Republicans are just as genocidal as little Dick here. So let's see what Trump had to say.
Money's going to be put into this country. All that money's coming back in the form of purchases of food, which they desperately need.
You see, so he's saying all of that money that Iran is going to theoretically make from selling their oil without the restriction of global sanctions. Now he's saying they're going to be using that money to buy American products.
They have 91 million people. They can't feed them. So the money that we lift is going to go to our farmers, largely to our farmers.
Can you assure that the Iranians won't use profits from oil sales to rebuild their military?
Well, they're not supposed to be doing that, so...
Did you notice when he said there that Iran has 90 million people to feed or whatever? That's to American corporations, or from the United States perspective, those are 90 million customers. That's a lot. That's a lot of customers. And if there's one thing that the United States loves, is it's opening up markets, quote unquote. And by opening our markets, you're opening yourself up to more customers. So I'll play it one more time, just so we can really get the gist.
If the sanctions go out, money's going to be put into this country. All that money's coming back in the form of purchases of food, which they desperately need. They have 91 million people. They can't feed them. So the money that we lift is going to go to our farmers, largely to our farmers.
So he's saying that money that we're going to be lifting is going to come right back to the United States in the form of purchases of food. Let's see.
Sure that the Iranians won't use profits from oil sales to rebuild their military.
Well, they're not supposed to be doing that, so we'll see. But they're supposed to use money to buy food for their people, because right now their people are very hungry, and they're buying it exclusively from us. Corn, soybeans. Should be a lot of money.
You see, now he's saying they're going to be buying it exclusively from us. Corn and soybeans. For 90 million people, that's a huge market. And I think it shouldn't be ignored that a big part of how the United States and other Western powers use their military might and military power, it's to create the conditions for countries to become subservient consumers. Because at the end of the day, to capitalism or to capitalists, the most important thing is having the most amount of customers as possible. Unlimited amount of customers. The interesting framing, I think, that we should pay attention to is how, for Trump or for the United States, the way of letting Iran out of being in the thorns of sanctions and global crackdown is to tell them, hey, what if you buy or use all of the vast amount of resources you have as a big country of 90 million people? What if you used that money to buy our products, buy our corn, buy our soybeans? Maybe then we'll give you a ceasefire. It's like putting a gun to somebody's head and then telling them, well, maybe now you should think about buying my product.
I hope it's a lot of money. You know, their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their leaders are all dead. Their whole country's a mess. Their economy is shot. The Times, the fake New York Times said, oh, it's about the same as it was 4 months ago. No, 4 months ago they had a Navy, 159 ships to be exact. It's gone. The whole Navy's gone. Their 250 airplanes, all gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. Their radar is gone. These guys love radar. Their radar is gone. Everything's gone. Their leaders are gone. Their whole country is gone. And the Times said, oh, they're about the same as they were 4 months ago.
Okay, so here Trump is upset that the New York Times is, I guess, saying that Iran is mostly stable despite the insane assaults that they've experienced to all levels of their leadership. But I think what's interesting here is he admits how far US foreign policymakers would go to create the conditions for a country to become a subservient customer, saying, we like their leadership is gone because they killed them. Their people are hungry. It's all of these extreme conditions that have been created that made it so, with a gun to their head, maybe now Iran will think about buying American corn and soybeans.
The reason the news is doing so badly, or let's put it another way, the reason that I won in a landslide, even though I got 92% negative press, all fake press, when the Times and a couple of others, they're grasping for straws when they say that Iran is about the same as it was 4 months. 4 months ago, they had a powerful Navy, they had a powerful Air Force. Most of their missiles are gone. Most of their launching pads are gone. Most of their manufacturing capacity for drones and missiles is gone. About 87% gone. And then I hear, oh, they're in such great shape. No, they're gone. And their first level of leaders, gone. Their second level of leaders, gone. Their third level of leaders, you have to hear the conversations. Who wants to be president? Well, I don't want it. Nobody wants to be president. And then we have to read that they're doing well. They're doing so badly. In the meantime, we're setting records. We have the strongest economy we've ever had. We have $18 to $19 trillion being poured into our country. We're building factories all over the place. We're building many plants throughout the country. They're dealing with General Motors. They're dealing with Ford. But I know General Motors is all excited about building weapons now. They have some plants which they're going to switch over, and we're going to build weapons, including the Patriot, including the Tomahawk.
Are you hearing this? So now General Motors is going to be making weapons, missiles,
and lots of other things. And we're in a big, really in a big, strong economic push to do the weapons. And some of the car companies, if they have any excess capacity, they're making a deal to build missiles and the Patriot in particular.
So now car companies are being pushed by the government to make weapons and missiles. Why? Why? In preparation for what? Is it just deterrence of making so many fucking weapons that so many weapons that other countries would be too scared Is it to just give Raytheon and other pieces of shit competition from GM now to make weapons, or is it preparing for something that we don't even know about? Why? You already have Raytheon and Northrop Grumman and all of these companies making whoever makes the Patriot missiles. I don't actually know. Why push car companies to use their production line and shift to make weapons?
We have quite a few of them, but we want to make sure we have always a lot of them.
Today, now the Treasury lifted, at least temporarily, some of those sanctions allowing Iran to sell its oil. The president was asked, what if Iran were to use that money for nefarious purposes? And the president tried to stress, and it's the administration's view, that Iran will use that in order to purchase agricultural products from the United States. And the president has said if they don't do that, well, then, the deal could get blown up and, the U.S. could go back to bombing Iran.
So if Iran, for some reason, decides not to buy American corn or soybeans, then Trump would take that as a signal to bomb Iran again. It's like, imagine if, I hate analogies, but imagine if you go into like a car dealership and then you say, actually, I don't think I want to buy any cars today. I don't think I want to buy a car. And then the car dealer pulls out a gun on you and says, well, what if I shoot you in the head unless you buy a car? This is the scenario we're witnessing in front of us. Like a genocidal salesperson forcing you to buy something and telling you if you don't buy something, they're going to bomb your face or slap you in the face or whatever.
And that's the sanctions relief for Iran that the Treasury Department announced today. This could be a significant financial windfall for the country. What do we know about it?
Absolutely, Ryan. This is a boon for Iran, okay? Because up until now, for years, they could sell their oil really kind of secretly, illicitly.
So you see here they're admitting that the sanctions that have been imposed on Iran made it much more difficult for them to sell their oil, but not impossible. So listen to this little nugget of data that they're about to share.
So most countries didn't want to buy oil from a blacklisted country, and the ones that did, like China, had it at a cheap discount. Mm-hmm. So now Iran can sell at the market price. They can do it in dollars and euros. This is really a position they haven't been in years.
See, that's very interesting. So Iran was, because of the sanctions, only able to sell their oil mostly discreetly or secretly to China at a discount price. And selling it not in US dollars or euros. Who would that have been the best deal for? Not the US. Sounds like it was great for China. It was great for China, buying oil at a huge discount because of US sanctions. And maybe Iran was even, paying for it. Maybe Iran was even selling it in yuan or other currencies.
And what did the U.S. get in return for it? Well, they got the Strait opened. Mm-hmm. But of course, the Strait was open before the war started. So that's kind of a painful compromise.
So here's where I disagree about the whole framing of it being a painful compromise for the United States, is that now Iran is able to sell their oil at regular market price and in US dollars and euros. That's great. That's actually pretty great for the United States. And Iran is going to be, according to Trump, buying American corn and soybeans. That's actually a slap in the face, not to the United States, but to China. Like the sale is over. The big spring sale of Iranian oil, as far as China is concerned, is done. Now Iran is going to try to be selling it at regular market price, and they're going to be selling it in dollars and euros, which is good for the United States and the European Union's economies, because that transaction, money, that money is going to be made using those transactions. So really what I would, I guess, propose is that, because the media framing has been a lot of like, oh, Trump is giving Iran a win. What a win. What a win for Iran. It's like this kind of like very misogynistic framing of like, who's the big guy, who's the big winner and who's the loser from like deals, and who walked away with all the power and who didn't. It's kind of like a dick flinging contest. And I think the details of it are much more interesting when you look at the bigger picture. Now, why would the United States be interested in selling more of its soybeans and corn to a country of 90 million people, Iran? Well, you might be wondering, you might be asking yourself, and this is something that I noticed and I'd like to share. And it's from Purdue's, I think it's Purdue, let me make sure, Purdue University's Center for Commercial Agriculture. And this was something they published in December 17, 2025. Let's read it together. U.S. corn and soybean exports. Diversification drives growth in corn and cushions decline in soybeans. While these two major commodities have followed different trajectories, with corn exports expanding and soybean exports contracting, both demonstrate the strategic value of diversified market portfolios rather than keeping a high dependence on a single market. So here's where it gets interesting. So here they're showing the soybean exports in 2024 for the United States. And you can see here that this giant slice of export for soybeans the export destination is China. For 2024, it was 46%. Now, if you look at the 2025 soybean export destination, here with me, that share has declined from 46%, which we saw earlier, to 18.7%. Huge decline. Why is that? The 2025 export profile demonstrates a restructuring of U.S. soybean export markets. China's share declined dramatically to 18.7%, a reduction of 28 percentage points, while the rest of the world category surged to 21.6%, becoming the largest category. The European Union increased its share to 12.9%, and Mexico expanded to 12.6%. Additional gains came from include Egypt and Japan and Indonesia. The shift has proven important as overall U.S. export volumes have declined in 2025, with China reducing its import volume substantially due to the second round of trade war. See Calusi and Langmeyer, 2025. You see, so now we see that because of the trade war between China and the United States, China decided to reduce its import of American soybeans dramatically, from 46% to 18%. So the United States has had to diversify in terms of finding a market for those to sell those fucking soybeans. And the way it found to do that is by selling it to Iran, and also telling China, oh, how you've been buying Iranian oil at a discount price because of the sanctions we imposed on Iran. Well, fuck you. Now you're going to have to pay a lot more for oil, and maybe pay for it in US dollars, because we're going to lift those sanctions from Iran. They're not going to be selling you oil at a cheap spring sale discount that you've been used to. And they're going to be buying the soybeans too. The soybeans that you decided to stop importing from us because of the trade war. So it's sort of the United States giving a fuck you to China, basically telling them, well, now you're not gonna, because of the sanctions relief that we're giving Iran, they're gonna be selling you their oil at regular market price. And I allegedly think that this is sort of a move to, I guess, fuck China by also telling them, you know, fuck you for reducing your share of buying soybeans from us. Now your oil prices are higher. Allegedly. Let's read a little bit more. Total U.S. soybean exports are projected to total 45.50 million metric tons in 2025, representing 38% of total soybean production, and a decrease of 13% compared to 2024. While some months in 2025 show lower volumes when compared to 2024, the magnitude of decline has been moderated by gains in alternative markets. October 2025 stands out as the month with the largest year-over-year difference, coinciding with the peak of the soybean harvest and zero purchases by Chinese buyers until then. See Figure 3. And here you can see that in December of 2025 was a month when China didn't even buy any soybeans. 2024 is the brown column. And here in November, you can see the difference between 2024 here and 2025. Huge reduction in purchase of soybeans. If China reduced its purchases to the same absolute level observed in 2025, but the US market structure remained as concentrated as in 2024, the overall decline would have been catastrophic. You see, so if the United States wasn't able to find customers for those soybeans to compensate for the share of soybeans that China decided to not buy anymore, they're saying that the economic impact would have been catastrophic for the US. Very important. Instead, the expansion into Southeast Asia, North Africa, Europe, and Latin America absorbed a substantial portion of this displacement, transforming what could have been a market crisis into a manageable contraction. You see, so when you have one customer saying, hey, I don't want to buy from you anymore, what do? You just find another customer. So I think that's kind of like a background to the economic warfare between the United States and Iran that I feel like a lot of people haven't really touched on. So I wanted to add my voice to it. To sort of keep our focus on why this is happening. Why, and it goes back to the idea behind why are wars fought in the first place. It's never about human rights. Never, at least when Western powers, when they get involved in wars and bombing campaigns and invasions and all that stuff, it always has to do with money, with business interests, with corporate interests. It's always important to sort of keep the focus there and see what's going on under the surface. Because a lot of times, most of the time, what politicians say their stated objectives when it comes to wars and economic when it comes to wars and like why they're getting involved, like in Iraq, any war you can think of, Afghanistan, Libya, all of these things. The difference between the stated goal and the actual goals is tremendous. And it always has to do with the dollar signs. So yeah, just a little bit of insight for you that I thought would be interesting to share. That's all I had today. That's all I had today. I know that there are elections going on today, primaries and all that stuff, but I'm honestly, I just could not give less of a shit about Democratic primaries, at least today. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind in a few months. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting dimension to share about the economic turf war between the United States, China, and Iran. I hope this was useful. Hope you were able to do something while listening to this. Vacuuming, cleaning, petting your pets, taking your dogs on a walk, very important. As always, my PSA is to, if you live in an area that has a lot of wildlife, I just had a raccoon a few minutes ago come to the window. Just leave them a bowl of water out if you can. It really helps them in the hot summer months if you're in the United States. But even if you're from outside the United States and you have wildlife in your area, just consider leaving a bowl of water for our critters family, our critter family, our animal friends. I really do wish, I've said this before, but I really do wish animals could take over the reins of Earth from the humans. I would be so down for that. I think they would be brilliant stewards of the ship that is planet Earth, however much longer we have before climate catastrophe. Anyway, why do I always go there for to like bring the convo down? I apologize, guys. If you have any clips that you'd like me to react to or share, or interesting stuff that have to do with the one-state solution or Palestine, leave them in the comments. I'd love to react to it. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for all the positive feedback that you've given for my other streams. I do appreciate you very much. This channel is not monetized. I do this for free at nighttime when I have some free time. Just to provide something to someone who might be looking to listen to stuff while they're doing something else. So I hope this was useful. And I should be here tomorrow. And you know what I'm going to say? Free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Oh